Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Kunanan. Tonight's topic is the online vehicle marketplace and Carmudi, helping you find the best vehicle at the best value. And joining us are two chaps from Carmudi. We have the global co-founder, Fritz and MD, Managing Director of Carmudi Philippines, Subir Lohani. So, Subir, Fritz, welcome back to our second segment. So, okay, let's talk about, we talked about briefly before we ended how this whole thing works and how you guys make money. And you guys said that you guys don't take a commission from the sales, but you charge a certain fee for listing. But then you also said that you don't charge, at the moment, you don't charge your private individuals who want to list their cars.
Exactly.
So you earn from who exactly?
So at the moment, we are still in the ramp-up phase. So as we mentioned earlier, we are now operating for 9 months only, and our goal is at the moment to actually first create value to our customers. That means by customers we have buyers and sellers. So it means creating an offering, at the same time also creating demand for that offering. So it's the ramp-up phase, and during that time, until we know, and we now are in this phase where we actually can show great value to our customers, existing customers, that's why we're going for free at the moment.
Okay.
Currently our focus when we first started was to get these big commercial car dealers on the platform, so these car malls, big dealers, even banks for repossessed vehicles. So those are the majority of our dealers on the platform now.
Sure, because I imagine these big car dealers, and you said banks with repossessed vehicles, it must be a problem for them, how to get rid of, let's say, the vehicles that they have. I mean, taking up space, it's capital that's not moving. I mean, these are goods that aren't moving. How do they get rid of these cars? And traditionally, they had to rely on people walking in to the car lot, and but now you're actually helping these guys get their vehicles out there, no?
Exactly. I mean, their standard procedures before would be, really offline sales and potentially offline marketing and just word of mouth. What we're giving them is a completely online platform. Also, people can search for their cars. If they have a price advantage, really, a customer can find it out.
Okay, now you guys say that 9 months, you're now the leaders in the Philippines in this online vehicle marketplace. And so you have competitors.
Yes, of course.
So, okay, in the Philippines, I mean, local guys who've also put up their own websites. What advantage do you guys bring?
Sure.
Vis-a-vis your competitors.
Sure. Again, the main thing again is we are a complete vertical. We only deal with cars rather than horizontal. We don't deal with any product.
No, but there are other websites as well who deal with cars only.
Exactly.
Right,
I think what we pride ourselves on is A, the user experience, and B, for the actual buyer of the car. B is actually, buyer of the car, plus that we want to be a one-stop shop for anything related to cars. We have a journal section where people can read tips and tricks about how to buy a car, content on lemon laws, so it's really very engaging for the user itself. And we highly pride ourselves on quality as well. When we first started the business, we essentially went to every dealer, took the pictures, collected the data, ensured that they were actually there, which I think gives users on our side some comfort that we've actually physically seen all those vehicles, and is part of one of the service offerings we provide also to our commercial car dealers who are paying us, because it also helps them manage their inventory.
Sure.
One thing we do is we also ensure that the dealers on our platform have properly inventory management systems in place, so that if a user actually calls, most likely the dealer will actually have the car rather than being told, sorry, it sold 2 weeks ago.
True. Now, how do you manage that? How do you manage the connect between your site and the dealer who, perhaps, let's say today, he sold a few hours ago, and then you have a user comes online and looks at your site and sees a car that's no longer available. How do you manage that?
On the platform side, I think Fritz can.
So I think
that real-time, update.
For us, because we're operating online, everything can happen real time. So it's different to a newspaper where maybe there's still, the offering is still lying around, and you maybe look at the newspaper from 2 days ago and it's simply outdated. That is not the case with us. So basically, every dealer and us, we have the option at any point in time to take a car offline for whatever reason. That might be because it's sold, which is most of the times likely, but it might also have wrong information which we might need to correct, or the dealer asks us to correct.
And you have a system in place that does this quickly.
Exactly.
So basically it happens in the minute. So if you say, okay, I sold my car, or I deactivated it because I didn't change my mind, I don't want to sell my car anymore, then you just take it offline, and that's it. You never hear, you're not being contacted for that car anymore. It has a significant advantage that where we also come to speak about the buyer side, which specific offerings we give to our sellers, is that we only provide the best source of leads. Yeah?
Okay.
So you don't get scams, you don't get fake calls, you don't get these sort of things, but you only get people calling you and contacting you that have a genuine interest in your car. And additionally, because we are a vertical player and provide all this information on the site, already are pre-informed.
Yeah.
Yeah? So they don't ask you the most basic question like what color does that car have?
Okay,
Because
it's
they
all
see it
there
on
already.
the photo.
It's all there already.
They also
Yeah.
don't ask, I really want to buy a diesel, do you have a diesel? Yeah?
Because
It
they
is
would've-
already there.
They would have
yeah?
filtered that out already.
Exactly.
In the search.
Very easy for the buyer. So actually the user experience that we create for the buyer
There.
actually helps the seller,
It's
making
quicker.
their
It's
life
quicker
easier.
for the buyer. It takes away a lot of, a lot of headache, right?
Exactly.
So it's just amazing. I mean that no one else is doing this or has done it.
Yeah, I mean, we just provide as much information as we can on the vehicle. I mean, there are the specs side, but we also have a description section where we can add even more information about the car, this past condition. So that really, like as Fritz mentioned, informs the user completely when they're searching our site, so they can really maybe narrow down, okay, these are really the 5 cars I want to look at,
Sure,
so
sure.
let me go and try to close that deal.
You mentioned quality earlier. How do you guarantee, let's say to the user, that the cars they see on your site are all, as I mentioned in my opening spiel, part of the, buying a second-hand car, the major problem is really finding one in good condition, something that doesn't have any hidden booby traps, right?
Yeah.
So how do you guarantee that your cars are all tip-top and good to go?
Well, I mean, in terms of the dealers that we engage, these are all the top dealers in the Philippines who are known for their quality.
Sure.
So in that case, they're already pre-screened. Although we are really a marketplace, and we inform the users and people coming on our website on tips and tricks what they should really look at when they're going to view a car at the dealership, what specific questions they should ask, what type of condition requirements they should look at. And it's really about us keeping the users of our platform the most informed on how they eventually also close the transaction with the dealer.
Do you have people who actually go to these sites and check out these cars and make sure that the specs are good and that everything's above board and everything's okay? Do you guys do that?
So in
You
case
do
of our
this?
professional sellers, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we personally visit all of them. If we also have private sellers on the site, so we also personally contact them and verify with them that all the information is correct. Plus, as we mentioned earlier, we have a quality control process where we actually have car experts looking at the listing online. Yeah, so verifying whether the specs are correct and so on and so forth. Plus, again, we do a lot of education in helping the people become good car buyers and don't regret anything in the end. Yeah, so that they're actually happy with their purchase. That means also giving them advice on. I mean, ultimately the transaction will happen offline. So we always urge our clients to never make an advance payment, for example, which is typical scam online.
Yes.
But do go to the dealer, do go to the seller, test drive your car, take the time, inspect it. These are the 5 to 10 things that you can easily watch out for when you actually look at the car when you're there. And if it passes all these tests, you can, you're actually good to go. In most cases. Although, again, we are not the owners of those cars. So the transaction, we are just the connecting party. We have also actually found a couple of funny stories is that some car buyers actually go to the dealers and bring their own mechanic. So
No, it makes sense. I mean,
makes sense,
if I had my own mechanic, I would bring, and I was going to buy a car, I would bring him. Absolutely.
Yeah. So in that sense, we check up that all the information is correct. So that basically we can warranty that the car with this sorts of specs is available at that dealership for that price, or at least through the information that we have. And anything beyond that, further price negotiations and so on and so forth. Also
Exactly, and so the education as well is also localized. I mean, for each market. For example, in the Philippines, one question you should ask is, has a car ever been flooded? Right? It's a simple question, but it really does make a difference on the condition.
For sure.
So also in every country you go to, I mean, it's not just a blanket, uniform thing on how to buy a used car, but we also localize education to each market that we're in.
Yes, because I don't know if you're aware, Fritz, about a year, 2 years, was it 2 years ago or more? A couple of years ago, there was a terrible flood in Manila.
Yeah.
And then, for about 6 months to a year after that, the second-hand car market was flooded with vehicles, and you could get a really good late model vehicle for so cheap. But then, as Subir said, that is really the nature of the market here. You really have to ask and find out if the car has been flooded, because that is the reality of here in Manila, especially. Right. So you mentioned also, Fritz, this ramp up period. before you guys start charging. When do you expect this to end? This
So for
ramp-up
us,
period?
from the C2C private seller
Yeah.
side, we do encourage for people to use this platform currently, to be very specific, absolutely, it's 100% free,
I mean, at the moment, yeah.
At the moment. So going forward, there's a couple of options that you can imagine, So we will always we think about charging premium services, giving your listing further exposure beyond that of other listings,
Yep.
So we, as a car seller, you might have maybe particular urgencies to sell your car, or you want to just have a high turnover as a seller, So these kind of premium services we also want to offer, but I mean, we need to diversify our market there and start.
Or in the search, let's say if you pay a little bit more, but your car comes up first, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So
These kind of things, then your car is preferred in, for example, our car recommendations.
It comes on the first page, the first search page,
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes, let's say, if I put, okay, I'm looking for a blue Vios, Toyota Vios. I mean, there must be like, 100 will come out, right? So, I mean, these are the kind of premium services that you could charge in the future.
Exactly.
But at the moment, how much do you charge for your C2B?
B2C.
B2C.
On B2C,
Yeah.
it depends on the actual size of the dealer.
Yeah, okay.
So we have various packages if you have 1 to 10 cars, 10 to 25, 50 to 100 and above as well. But it ranges around like 600 pesos per listing, and it goes down depending on if you're a very big dealer and customized packages.
If you're a private consumer in the Philippines, how much, I mean, let's say ballpark, like how much could you ideally charge for, if it came to that you had to start charging, how much would
well,
I mean, I don't think it's 100% that we all want to disclose all these numbers.
Sure.
So,
I mean, because whatever you're free to disclose.
Exactly. So no, I think we offer a very fair deal. So what we found is our response from the dealers and from the sellers is that they find it's a very fair price for what we offer, because I mean, ultimately they are also businessmen. They want to sell cars as fast as possible. We support them in that process, and we do so in a very, very good way. It makes life much, much easier for them, and we find that they are willing to pay a fair price.
For your consumers, I guess you'd have to be competitive with the classified ads, for instance, whatever they're charging, right? I mean, you would have to be at least, competitive. I mean, kind of competitive with them.
I mean, we don't necessarily compare us to them, because we say we are car and vehicle classifieds, which again is different to generic horizontal players. We provide significant advantages both for buyers and sellers that that go beyond what users are used to, and we are also very, very confident to say, and we've seen that from the initial responses, that this is also something that users are willing to pay for. And that is, I think, what is important for us and gives us the confidence to say also, and to sit here and say we are already the number one in terms of vertical vehicle platforms, and we are confident that we sustain this position and really expand beyond this.
Okay, quickly before we end our second segment, in the Philippines, how many customers have you? I mean, how many people have used your service since you started in January? As in, do you keep track of these things? Like, how many people have actually we have sales that came out? Yeah.
So the sale takes place offline, but we actually do have 300,000 visits a month on our website.
Okay, wow.
So in fact, we calculated it just yesterday that per month of actual people spend 3 years, close to 3 years on our website. In actual use time.
Wow. Something around 20,000 plus hours.
That's a lot of surfing. That's a lot of
surfing.
Okay, hold that thought, guys, because we'll talk about that, and also how the Philippine market is how you've localized your operations for the Philippine market when the Philippines and country turns. Guys, stick around because more of the online vehicle marketplace when we come back.